What really happens when you quit porn and masturbation for 30 days? I decided to run a little experiment on myself to see if the life-changing results I kept hearing about were just hype. I'd seen the posts about so-called superpowers, and frankly, I was skeptical. What started as a simple test of self-discipline just to see if I had a handle on my own impulses turned into a journey I honestly wasn't prepared for. This wasn't about unlocking magical abilities, it was a journey into my own psychology. It was an experiment that felt like it recalibrated my brain's reward system and unlocked benefits I never saw coming. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened, week by week, and share the single most important lesson I learned. Before this 30-day challenge, my life wasn't a mess, but it felt muted. I was living with a constant low-grade fatigue. I had goals and ambition, but my motivation felt like a flickering candle. That brain fog you hear people talk about, that was my daily reality. I felt like I was operating at 70%, just coasting through my days with a nagging feeling of being stuck. I'd procrastinate on important stuff, my focus was shot, and my energy would crash by mid-afternoon. Online, I kept stumbling upon communities like NoFap, groups of people abstaining from porn and masturbation. They were talking about radical transformations, boundless energy, laser-like focus, and magnetic confidence. It all sounded a little too good to be true, and my inner skeptic was on high alert. But another part of me, the part that was tired of feeling drained and unfocused, was curious. What if there was something to it? So, I decided to treat it like a science experiment with myself as the subject. No dogma, no blind belief, just a simple test. The rules were straightforward. For 30 days, no pornography and no masturbation. The goal wasn't to become a monk, it was to gather data. I wanted to see for myself if these anecdotal claims held any water, or if it was all just a placebo effect amplified by a passionate online community. I just wanted to know what my baseline actually felt like, free from constant artificial stimulation. Week 1, the struggle is real. The first 7 days were, without a doubt, the hardest. This is when your brain, used to its regular routine, starts to protest. Loudly. The withdrawal felt very real. For the first few days, I had intense urges, usually triggered by boredom, stress, or just the end of a long day. My brain was screaming for its usual hit of easy dopamine. I was irritable, my mood was all over the place, and I had trouble sleeping. It was a mental battle from morning to night. My mind became a master negotiator. It's natural, it would argue. Just once won't hurt. This is the great filter, where your initial resolve gets put to the test. I had to actively find replacements. Instead of scrolling on my phone, I'd go for a walk. When an urge hit, I'd drop and do push-ups. It felt forced at first, but I knew breaking a pattern meant building a new one. The first week wasn't about feeling amazing. It was about survival and proving to myself that I was in charge, not my impulses. Week 2. The fog begins to lift. Around day 8 or 9, something shifted. The intense, all-consuming urges started to fade into the background. They were still there, but more like quiet noise than a blaring alarm. This is when I noticed the first real benefit. The brain fog started to clear. It was subtle. I'd be working and suddenly realize an hour had passed without me getting distracted. My thoughts felt sharper, more organized. My energy also started to even out. Instead of desperately needing that afternoon coffee, I had a more consistent stream of energy all day. Waking up felt easier. This was a huge turning point. The initial pain was starting to be replaced by small, encouraging rewards. It was the first sign that made me think, okay, maybe there's something to this. Weeks 3 and 4. The breakthrough. The second half of the month is where the biggest changes happened for me. My newfound mental clarity wasn't just a fleeting moment, it became the new normal. I felt a serious surge in motivation. Projects I'd been putting off for months suddenly seemed exciting, but the most surprising benefit was how it affected my social life. I felt a real boost in confidence. Conversations just flowed more easily. I was making better eye contact, feeling more present, and less stuck in my own head. It felt like a layer of social anxiety I didn't even know was there started to dissolve. It wasn't a superpower of being wildly attractive to everyone. It was the simple ability to connect with people on a genuine level. By the end of the 30 days, I didn't feel like a new person, but a more authentic version of myself. Section 3. The climax, recalibrating my brain's reward system. Looking back, I can pinpoint the single most important transformation, and it wasn't about testosterone or magic. It was what felt like a complete recalibration of my brain's reward system. This is the core of the whole experience. Let me use an analogy. Imagine for years you've only eaten super sugary processed junk food. Your taste buds get numb to natural sweetness. An apple tastes bland. But if you cut out all that junk for 30 days, your palate resets. Suddenly that apple tastes incredibly sweet. That's exactly what this felt like for my brain. The theory is that the high stimulation of internet porn can flood your brain with dopamine, a chemical linked to pleasure. Over time, this can desensitize your brain's reward pathways, making normal, healthy pleasures feel less exciting. A good conversation or the satisfaction of a finished workout doesn't provide the same intense spike, so they can start to feel dull. By abstaining, I was essentially giving my brain a break from that high-intensity stimulation. After the withdrawal, simple things started to bring me joy again. The satisfaction from my work felt more profound. Music sounded better. My workouts were more invigorating. It wasn't that I had gained superpowers, I had just regained my ability to appreciate the genuine rewards of a normal life. Section 4. The unexpected psychological benefits. Beyond the reward system, I noticed a few other psychological benefits that were genuinely life-changing for me. First, I found a surprising level of emotional clarity. The cycle of engaging in a habit followed by feelings of guilt or shame was broken, which led to a reduction in my underlying anxiety. This isn't everyone's experience, as some may feel more frustration or stress during abstinence, but for me, it resulted in a more positive self-image. Second, my ability to focus and do deep work was supercharged. With a brain no longer craving constant distraction, I could concentrate for longer periods than I had in years. This directly translated into a massive boost in my productivity. Third, my confidence in social situations was transformed. By quitting a compulsive habit that can sometimes involve objectifying others, I found it easier to connect with people authentically. I became a better listener and was more genuinely interested in others, leading to more meaningful connections. Finally, the whole thing was a powerful exercise in self-awareness. It forced me to confront my habits and my triggers. Overcoming the challenge built a deep sense of resilience. I rediscovered parts of my personality, ambition, creativity, and social energy that had felt buried for years. Now I'm curious. Have you ever tried a challenge like this, even just for a week? What did you notice? Drop your experience in the comments below because I genuinely believe we can all learn from each other's experiments. So, what's the final verdict? For me, it was 100% worth it. I would recommend this not as a moral crusade, but as a mental reset for anyone who feels stuck, unmotivated, or disconnected. If this story resonated with you and you want to see more content about personal experiments and practical self-improvement, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Ultimately, this 30-day journey wasn't about what I gave up. It was about what I got back. I got back my focus, my energy, and a genuine appreciation for the small things in life. But let's be clear. This experience isn't about shaming masturbation, which can be a healthy part of life for many. My experiment was about understanding the impact of my compulsive use of pornography and the overstimulation of the modern internet. It taught me that we have the power to consciously examine our habits, and in doing so, take back a little more control over our own lives.